Fine, there's always a way. You're very special. And I was like, what is special about me? I've benefited a lot from my career because of that. I used to have this motto called Heart Star Tree. A career progression usually is a series of trade-offs along those journey. Heart is something that I never trade off. No matter how you judge me, I'm in the minority aspect, the workforce. Everybody around me. I never really know these words, to be honest, at that time. But there are definitely moments in my career where it had profound impact in how I understand myself. In the early days of Microsoft culture, it was very cutthroat, hardcore, very male dominant, of course, right? And so, I'm surrounded by these managers and very senior leaders that are like that. It's not a stereotype, it's not legacy, it is actually true. But the key thing is there are a lot of great people there too. Even though they adopted those demeanors and they sort of started forming echo chamber, but there's actually a lot of good people that really want to help you. It's just they can't help themselves with the way that they conduct themselves. And so a couple moments in my career was I worked for these hardcore managers that are very harsh. You can call them abrasive or aggressive or what you have. But moments in time when I talk about the career, we talk about what we did. I remember one of my managers at one point all of a sudden said, you're very special. And I was like, what is special about me? Tell me more. And then so he kind of, went on and started telling me his observation about me, your ability to look at the big picture, connect the dots in many ways that other people can't. And that was something that never occurred to me. But, he actually pointed that out to me at the moment that got me thinking a lot because I realized that I was underestimating myself and I was too busy doing things and not looking at what my potential is. And I have many moments like that where, managers that looks intimidating, looks like they're all about business. And if you fail, they will not put up with you. They actually have very good observations. Feedback. I was listening to Alison, the previous, right? She was talking about pay attention, heed to those people who give you honest and straightforward feedback. That is very true in my case because people will give me feedback. A lot of time it was very hard to listen, but like once in a while, they'll give you some feedback that makes me feel, okay, that's interesting. I never thought about that. And those are the moments that made me realize there are things that I can do that other people see in me that I didn't see. It's a long-winded way of saying, first of all, I think, to be successful in today's workplace, you have to have thick skin. You have to not let people tell you hard feedback take you down. Sometimes those are fair, sometimes those are not fair. Just understand that's just, the environment around you. And the moment you blame the environment, you fall yourself into victimhood. The other thing in my career, what I used to is I go after those people who actually have a high standard. I'm not afraid of them. I actually want to go for those people because those people typically will see things and stretch me in ways that I myself may not. And I've benefited a lot from my career because of that. And I've been in Microsoft for 27 years. So I'm not trying to convince you. I think it's perfectly normal. For me, for myself, in the early stage of my career, I do projects probably every second year. I switch to a project because, my temperament was if I work on something, I shift it, I get bored. I can't keep working on this thing because I've learned enough. I felt like if I continue to learn, of course, there are more things to learn, but it's incremental. It doesn't, satisfy my need. So I just keep jumping to different projects. Fortunately, Microsoft have enough of these interesting different things. I worked from kernel to operating system, audio media stack, SDK, client service, UX, all stack, right? Because there's enough things to keep you interested. I used to have this model that I describe to people in their career called Heart Star Tree. I don't know if you've heard about this. Heart is what you love to do. Star is what you're good at. Tree is what you want to grow, right? And it's pretty important, at various points in time to check in with yourself. What's your heart start tree? Because those things could change, right? And also, by the way, don't just check in with yourself. Some people may see things that you don't see. So find, people who are high standard and have insight. Let them tell you what's your heart start tree so you can get a good calibration between your own perception versus other people's perception of you. Ideally, you want to develop a close understanding of that, your own perception and other people's perception of you. Close the gap as much as you can. The reason it's important is it helps you to make trade-offs at various stages of your career. Not everybody has the luck to say, at any given moment in my career, I have all 3 stars aligned, right? I love what I do, I can continue to grow, and I am good at what I'm doing. So a career progression usually is a series of trade-offs along those journey, right? What do you want to trade off? Do you want to stick with what you love to do, but maybe not grow as much? Or, hard start tree, which one do you want to make trade-off? You want to be very cognizant about that as you consider your next career move, because it'll help you to be more prepared. I have seen a lot of people who didn't have those self-awareness and decided to make a career move. And then they sort of started doubting themselves, right? Maybe I'm just not good. Maybe I made a wrong decision. But if you know that you made a decision to optimize what tree, which is what you want to grow, you will walk in with the understanding that I'm not good at this yet, but I'm here to grow. So I'm willing to take some setback. So you will be psychologically more prepared. So that's kind of, first thing I would say. The other thing I would say is just based on my personal experience. Heart is something that I never trade off, because do what you love to do sounds like a cliche. But the pragmatic side of it is the more you grow, the going will get tough. If you have what you love, it makes it easier to be more resilient. So, as I told my kids as well, whatever you want to do, I don't have any particular direction for them. Just make sure you don't trade off your heart. But to know what your heart is, also do, have some conversation with your personal board of director. Just validate this with people, because sometimes you just don't, you're so muddied in your head that you don't know, if you have a good assessment of yourself. My birthday, my daughter, drew me a very pretty painting that says, "There's always a way." That's my attitude. I refuse to be the victim of circumstances. And throughout my career, you can look around and you can choose to say, wow, I'm the minority here, I'm at disadvantage. But what I do see is you're white male, but you're super insecure. You're not. I'm making this example. It's just everybody has their insecurities and areas that they need to grow. I try not to make it about me, but make it about how I can help you. Even if you are a very senior leader, I'm you don't know the business as a customer as well as I do, because I talk to them every day. You don't, right? There are things that I can offer to the table to you that you don't. So if you look at from that angle, it's everybody has something that they could learn from each other. I have stuff I can offer to the table. So I feel I have no fear. And that is true. My career is just, I don't fear of anything. I don't worry about losing my job or not getting promotion, piss off somebody. And because I'm I know who I am, and I know you throw me out there anywhere, I can thrive. So if I don't like what I'm doing, and if I don't like the management or the people who I work with, I'll go somewhere else and I find a place that I know I can fit, and I'll make it fit for me. So that's kind of why my early days of the career is like that. That's why I mentioned I jump my career, project every 2 years because I get bored, or I'm I think I outgrew my manager, so I need to move on and find something else that can stretch me. You make your own way, right? Now I think, the corporate workplace at least, is a lot more conscious about how to open the door, create space. Not using my leadership power to say get things done. I actually want to figure out how I can, I appreciate companies like Google, which are a lot more bottoms up versus top down, right? How do we create those kind of culture where people from all parts of the org can feel like they can get their voice heard versus getting buried in the hierarchy. I think when you are in a position of what perceived as dispower, find your power, because anybody can find something that you can be your leverage. But once you do have the power, then be that butterfly that can spread the change, create that impact for many other people.